we're excited to bring in Katrina Iott. She is an organic farmer, but you guys have so many more things going on. Katrina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, doing great. It's a hot one today. This when the sun's out, I mean, as much as we all love it, it makes the birds sing and it makes us happy. You need practically fire hoses in the greenhouse to keep things watered, and then same thing in the field. We're watering, as much as we can. But tomatoes love the heat, so that's good. They're doing great.
I will say I'm so excited because I go to the Eastern market quite often. So the next time I'm there, I'm going to try to find you. But so you're with Aunt Katrina's brand and businesses. In the middle of this, you also took over another business in the middle of a pandemic in downtown Detroit. What were you thinking?
It's funny. I made a TikTok video that said that, like, what was I thinking? But I really didn't do it in the middle of the pandemic. I'm a longtime tomato farmer and a fixture at the Eastern market. My family's been there since, early 1900s. And that's where I've made my living most of my life. On the wholesale market with our company, my family's business, Iott Ranch and Orchard. I went to Hillsdale College in Michigan and then returned back to the farm in 96 to start tomatoes.com with my mother and brothers. And so I've always been on the commercial side or conventional tomatoes. We sell tomatoes to about 125 different local farm markets and grocery stores, Joe's, Vincent Joe's. You'll see them, our conventional tomatoes from Iott Ranch and Orchard everywhere. But then in 2017, I started my own organic farm. And I bought the original homestead that we all grew up in and started a 10-acre organic farm and left the business in 18. And then came out with my first product. And so, my logo, all of my companies, they all have my logo on like this, but started producing a roasted tomato sauce called ketchup in October of 19, and then bought Beau Bien Fine Foods in December of 20, January of 20. And so then the
right
pandemic.
Before the pandemic. Yeah, and then the pandemic hits.
So I didn't have that in mind.
And we should point, for those that don't know the location, it is right downtown. Isn't that next to the Detroit distillery?
Oh, the old Beau Bien production facility was there. Yes, it was an old slaughterhouse that the original founders of Beau Bien had moved into. But as of May 1st, I retired the Beau Bien brand. So the Beau Bien brand has been officially retired after 10 years. And we're transitioning everything to my new brand. It's Aunt Katrina's Preserves, Chutneys, and Condiments, because I have the mustards and the my roasted tomato sauce. So for those that, there's been a lot of great press about it. It was in the Detroit News and it's on my website. No one is going to go hungry in the transition. And we might even make some more products June 1st, but we had enough supply to get us through June. So we're available. That's available in the Eastern market in Shed 2 on Saturdays, and then through all of our stores. So we're at about 300 stores in Michigan, the Beau Bien brand, and then my roasted tomato sauce, the ketchup. So that's still available in all of your local retail stores.
How has the supply been throughout the pandemic for you?
We started with supply chain issues in October. I think, I had ordered more jars in, June. I mean, it was kind of a struggle, but I had a couple pallets of jars coming in to get us through to the holidays. And then they were supposed to arrive in August, and it'll be a bit. We ran out in October, like October 1st, out of jars. And I didn't get more in until Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So it was a really fun holiday for Aunt Katrina. I didn't even host Christmas. It was like, I made jam Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. I was making jam. And my production manager, Sharina Ronce, she was off for the holidays. So it was just me and my little, just stirring the pots.
You have to do what you have to do when you're a small business owner.
You do.
Katrina Iott with us here on the MegaCast. She's the owner and founder for Aunt Katrina's brand. And with that too, I think what's so great is you also have a foundation. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I'm known as a philanthropist more in Toledo than in Detroit, but I am on the board of the Eastern Market, and I love our mission, a happier, healthier, wealthier Detroit. That's what it's all about, is teaching people how they can get access to great food, great nutritious food. But my mission is really to teach them how they can grow their own food and preserve their own food. That's, I've been training my whole life for this. That's what we did. I always say I was born with a lot of blessings, but, money was not one of them. We weren't really given anything. And we didn't realize, I don't think growing up that we realized we were poor. We just were so blessed. We grew everything and canned and jarred everything together. I have some fun stories on my blog. I do a silly little blog on my website that I talk about things. And, but I think it's important that everybody gets to do that, that where your food comes from. So started a foundation. So I'm giving away, and this is probably the best place to announce it. I have about 60,000 heirloom tomato plants that I sell them on Saturdays in the market. You're welcome to come and make a donation or, to my actual, company or any of the workers that are there. You can get them for $3. They're USDA certified organic, but I have about 60,000 additional that I'm going to be donating to the community this year. I'll have them available this Saturday and Tuesday so that all the community gardeners can take things and plant the tomatoes and share them with them, their family, their friends. One tomato plant can feed a lot of people. If you've ever had a neighbor that had tomatoes in August or September, they're fine in August making their own caprese salad, they're making sauce, and then all of a sudden you get bushels dumped on your front porch.
That is true. We have someone in our neighborhood, he gets so many that then the bags start coming on your front porch with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. But I mean, isn't that a great way to feed Detroit? I mean, what do you think?
So
I mean, it's worth a shot.
It really is. And Katrina, I have to ask, there has been an explosion and a lot of attention over, I'd say, the past 5 years on Detroit and the urban farming that's going on. But then we also hit the pandemic, where at the beginning we had a food supply chain issue. So do you think it's really helped bolster your mission as well, for people to understand they can grow their own food?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as a part of the Eastern Market partnership, I don't believe that the supply chain issue wasn't there. I mean, we made sure that the market was open every Saturday. We never closed. The Eastern Market was there. We started a food box program immediately. We had vendors like, La Grasso Brothers and Delbane and everyone donating pallets and pallets of tomatoes of produce, excuse me, tomatoes on the brain, but that people could come and pick up for free. We're doing all kinds of pay it forward programs. So the Eastern Market partnership that I'm a big part of, like I say, I've made my living there. And we are doing everything we can to make sure that Detroiters have access to the food. It's just, I think that the issue, Ronnie, is more getting the word out to the public, because, Detroiters, the ones that need the help most, don't have computers. They don't have, I heard somebody the other day say that they can't find any help. And I said, well, where are you looking? Why did you put a help wanted sign out? And he said, oh no, I advertised in the paper. I said, well, do you subscribe to the paper anymore? I mean, it's all online, so let's say that you don't have a phone, I mean, maybe you should put it on the side of the buses where everybody is getting the buses, that's the biggest thing. We need our community to rally together. And that's what Aunt Katrina's foundation is about, is getting the word out about where you can get access to services, what is available to you, where you can get food, mental health care, the wellness centers on Russell and over on Mount Elliott and Mac. We've got a wellness center right in the middle of one of the worst drug areas that you can see. And so my idea is, hey, let's start dumping tomato plants and great produce there. And, when you push more good in, it'll sort of push out the bad, right?
We hope so.
It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
And you have to try and start somewhere. Katrina Iott with us here. She's the owner and founder for Aunt Katrina's. And I will say, fresh food is so vital in the city of Detroit, because we know that, yes, they have a Whole Foods now downtown, but it's a very small store. It's not accessible by those in the neighborhoods. Fresh food is one of the hardest things for so many Detroiters to have access to.
and that's the thing. It's a mystery to me. I can't tell you. We get, thousands of people that come to our market, but they'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you were open. We thought you were closed during the pandemic." No, there is nothing but fresh fruit, produce, vegetables. All of the produce for the state of Michigan comes into the produce terminal on 4th Street. It all comes through Detroit. It's all downtown. And then you have all of these companies coming and picking it up fresh that day. When I was on the wholesale market in the Eastern market, I would, do that at night in Shed 2. And we would bring semi loads of tomatoes. We still do. But, every one of your produce stores out in, let's use, Joe's in Livonia or Vincent Joe's, they're picking up right at the market and then they're bringing that local produce back to you. But in the heart of the city, that's where, all of these urban gardens, I mean, it's amazing. Keep Growing Detroit is right there in the market. If you haven't been to the Eastern Market lately, you need to come. You need to come and see how the entire district is rallied around just providing Detroiters the best food, healthy food, so that they can think. When you're hungry, you can't think straight. You just can't. Children can't learn when they're not hungry. That's why we do, Gleaners, and through the Feeding America Food Network, we do backpack programs. And that was one of the problems during the pandemic, was saying, if they're not in school, what's happening? Where are they getting their healthy food? And we had to go to a full on, getting backpacks, getting food into the homes. But we need to be spreading the word about where to come, and just coming to the market, either the Oakland Farmers Market or the Detroit Market. And I just shout out to Dan Prelip Farms. That's where my USDA certified organic greenhouse is inside of Dan Prelip's farm. And he goes to the Oakland Market on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with all of his beautiful flowers and plants, and then all of his fresh produce starting in July, August.
So with that, Katrina, I'm sorry, we need to let you go because we want to join the governor. But again, Katrina Iott, she's with Aunt Katrina's branded businesses. You can find her at Eastern Market. We would love to have you on again, maybe a little bit later in the summer.
Sure, sounds good.
It's been great talking to you, and I'll look for you at the market.
Shed 2. See you then.